don't like you.
Nobody asked for your opinion, Walter. You're just a simple little farm boy, and the rest of us are all sophisticated beatniks.
Let's split. Yeah, man. I gotta make me some air.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve, and we are continuing with the 70 albums for 70 years project. I started a few videos ago at the year 1953, and I've been doing 10 albums per episode, and now we're at the penultimate chapter. My experience doing DJing and doing radio contributed a lot to my musical taste and to my attitude towards music. In some ways it made me more open-minded. In some ways I was surrounded by narrow-mindedness that made me defiantly more open-minded. It's a thin line. It's a thin line, because I cannot underestimate what community radio and left to the dial non-commercial radio did for getting unrecognized and underheard artists, whether hyper-local or not, out into people's ears, because commercial radio just got narrower and narrower until it was just, whatever music would bring people to listen to the commercials that were really the bread and butter of these stations. And don't even get me started with the Fairness Doctrine or the Telecommunications Act of 1996. There are far more articulate YouTubers and pundits and people that can tell you about that. You could do your own research. But yeah, it was a weird cognitive dissonance doing college radio, because I was discovering so much amazing music, but at the same time I would show up at just a ponderous staff meeting and I would try to tell people about some amazing album or band that I discovered, and then the music director would kind of look down on his nose at me and say, you're just a simple little fanboy, and the rest of us are sophisticated gatekeepers.
2003 round Quartet.
Okay, so this is Quartet, my album for 2003, and this is the heavy limited edition vinyl, because I bought this right when it came out. And Quartet was a project of electronic musician Kieran Hebden, who was in a band called Fridge in the 90s and did some really interesting collaborations with jazz drummer Steve Reed that you should seek out if you want to hear some really interesting juxtaposing of organic drums and electronic sounds. But this album, I guess you'd call it trip hop, but he had his little unique samples that he used that, it's hard to describe, but kind of little bell sounds and kind of chimey kind of sounds. But there was one song, a really long song on here, it's called Unspoken, and that was kind of a hit. It had a really driving beat and a very melodic build-up structure that stuck in your head. I actually heard that song in an episode of CSI back in the day. But yeah, Quartet Rounds. Great album.
2004 Gary Wilson. Mary had brown hair.
Gary Wilson from Endicott, New York. He was a weirdo. He was a weirdo that made a record in the 80s called You Think You Really Know Me that had a long-standing cult following. And this record is another one of those stories where the album is reissued, and that created enough of a resurgence of interest for Mr. Wilson to put a band together and make another album and play. I think he's still kicking. I think he's still kicking around doing music. I don't know, but his music occupies a weird space. Somewhere between quirky new wave and kind of funky, soulful. I don't want to say disco because it's a lot slower than that. But I don't know. Somewhere between Barry White and Devo. And he has all these characters in his songs. Debbie and Linda and Mary. They might be actual people he knows. They might be his background singers. But yeah, if you want to hear some strange, sleazy, and like futuristic, like somebody from the 80s trying to predict today, futuristic, Gary Wilson.
2005, I'm wide awake. It's morning, bright eyes.
Bright Eyes. Now that's an interesting story. Conor Oberst and his very heartfelt and depressing songs. And yeah, pretty much a huge career. His institution, he at the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass out here in San Francisco. He was performing every year for a while. But it was just, I don't know, my station's relationship with certain bands after they got famous past a certain point was kind of interesting. In 1999, no one ever heard of these guys, and I had them perform live on my show, and I was like, yeah, this is interesting. And it was kind of a revelation because like the Columbine school shooting was in the news around the same time, and I'm like, okay, there's a very depressed generation coming of age. Fast forward to 2007, and crusty old Steve, veteran DJ, overhearing a conversation in which young millennial recently joined DJ was chastising another young millennial recently joined DJ and calling them sellout for playing Bright Eyes. But anyway, in 2005, they released 2 albums on the same day. I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning, and Digital Ash in a Digital Urn. They both have kind of different vibes. I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning, which is the one I'm rooting for here, is more of a folk rock album, and this one has a little more of an electronic vibe, the Digital Ash and the Digital Urn. And they were 2 separate albums, both released the same day, but this was the promotional CD that had both albums in one package. Kind of a little collector's item thingy. Speaking of collector's item thingies.
2006, 10,000 Days Tool.
Yeah, this is Tool's 10,000 Days album. And this is the original CD package with the Tool artwork. And this is what's interesting. It's like a stereo octagon. You look through the lenses at the booklet, and the booklet has kind of a 3D effect. It's really cool, you know. And I've never seen anybody show this in the VC. But you know what I have seen people show is unauthorized vinyl bootlegs of these later Tool albums, showing off that they have it on vinyl. But, you know, you're ripping off the band. You're not really buying what the artist intended. And you're not getting this cool 3D thing that I'm going to just kind of trip out on here. So, you know, wow. Let's see.
2007 person pitch Panda Bear.
Panda Bear. Panda Bear, I forgot his real name, but Panda Bear is a member of the band Animal Collective. And this album was really huge at the station, even though half of the tracks are like 15 minutes long. It was getting a lot of play, probably for smoke breaks and bathroom breaks, but getting a lot of play nonetheless. And yeah, the sound of Panda Bear, the sound of Animal Collective is really interesting. Another one where I should be more deep into their mythology than I am. The music is very abstract, kind of acid folk, but you know, I hear twinges of the Residents in it. I hear twinges of the Beach Boys in it a lot. And once you get used to the sound, it's very, very hypnotic. And there's some tuneful melodies.
2008 Nile Boris.
Yes, indeed. Boris. The Japanese sludge metal titans. The trivia, they named themselves after a song called Boris by Melvins. But anyway, this album, Boris Smile, was released in 1 million different variants. And I got this one because this was the first one I found. I really love this song, My Neighbor Satan, which had a different title on the Japanese version. Statement is kind of a rockin', they released that as a 7-inch single, and that is just a tight rockin' tune. This version of the CD has a bonus disc, which is a DVD with videos for some of their songs. And amazing band. Amazing band. A female guitarist, for those who say I don't talk about enough female artists. I don't know. I try to give everybody a chance, but I just end up staring at the reflecting infinity in the silver discs. See, there's the DVD.
2009 Exploding Head, A Place to Bury Strangers.
A Place to Bury Strangers. Yes, the 2000s were the age of run-on sentences for band names. Place to Bury Strangers. They had that kind of early Jesus and Mary Chain noise rock vibe, but more percussive. Maybe a little more plastic, a little more electronic sounding, but very heavy. If you like that kind of post-rock, shoegaze, heaviosity. It's a good album. And this is another one of those promotional things. You know, this is what we got at the radio station. We'd get these little hype stickers. Sometimes it'd be a review or a description. Sometimes it'd just be Who to Call, Ghostbusters. But I dig this band. I don't know that much about them, but I dig this band.
2010 Inner Secret Tame Impala.
The Mighty Tame Impala from Australia. I know a lot of people consider Currents to be their masterpiece, but this is really the album that spoke to me. And this is an original 2-record set version of it. Plays at 45. Sounds amazing. But there are some songs that I just love on here. Runway Houses, City Clouds, The Bold Arrow of Time, Why Won't You Make Up Your Mind, and yeah, it's just everything you want from psychedelic rock that is also modern sounding. And yeah, they did bring in some more pop elements as they matured, but this album is solid. And yeah, nobody at the radio station had any clue how huge this band was going to be. In fact, the person who gave me the CD to like write a review for it thought the band was called Team Impala.
2011 Emperor's Russian Circles.
Russian Circles. Empros. How would you classify Russian Circles? Rate Your Music said atmospheric sludge metal, which is pretty close. Some people say post-rock. I guess I'd call it instrumental. But yeah, if you like that heavy modern metal sound, you know, you can just put it on in the background and just bang your head to it. But you can also rock out to it. That's kind of superficial, but they've been around since 2004, I think. But this album from 2011, Empros, is really where their sound gelled. And it's a solid listen. In my opinion. Right. It's all opinions, you know. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink except for mine.
Hey, where's everybody going?
2012 Maserati VII Maserati.
Okay, this one I talked about before, but I figure I'll talk about it again because why not? Maserati, band from Athens, Georgia. There was kind of a crop of Athens, Georgia bands in the 2010s that don't get talked about as much as 80s and 90s Athens, Georgia bands, like the post-punkish We versus the Shark and these guys, which maybe veer towards that instrumental like I was talking about, but a lot more post-rock and krautrock influences to them. Their songs have that kind of krautrocky pulse to them. And I think they know what they're doing because they made their record label look like the old Virgin labels, you know, Virgin Records style. But yeah, there's, you know, I mean, you look at the song titles. San Angeles, you know, like Demolition Man. Song called Martin Rev, who was the guy from the band Suicide. And what's that? Abracadabra.
Hey, kiddies, gather round. The man with the goodies is here. Here's a little beauty for me to Udy. Just inhale and sniff. It is aeroplane glue. Oh, one whiff, man, and
Isn't it true that sniffing glue can damage your liver and kidneys?
Cool it, kid. Looky. Amphetamines, bennies, dexies, meth.
They say amphetamines can cause something like schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. In most cases, it does not last. Cool it, kid. Now for the barbs. Neato, nice, easy downers.
Withdrawal from barbiturates can cause
Will
convulsions.
you convulse yourself out of here? Grass. Anything wrong with pot?
They're not sure yet. They just started studying about it.
Worrywart. Dig, everybody. LSD.
Bad trips and a chance of chromosome damage.
How do you know you got
Everything you
chromosomes?
got there can hurt you, can't it?
Sure, kid. Why do you think they call it dope?
Nah.
Hey, where's everybody going?
No, stop.
Oh no, you can't leave yet. You gotta have a nice cup of tea with me.
How's it going here? I'm sitting outside because it's a nice sunshine day, and I've been seeing these 10 final questions. I will put the link to the original video with the 10 final questions. It was questions for vinyl community video makers, YouTube record collectors, etc., etc. And so I'm like, you know, but I figure, you know, this kind of ties in with the first question. I'm gonna just answer these questions. I got them written down here. So let's see. First question: do you struggle to come up with ideas for your videos? Yes, I do. Sometimes I don't have an idea, you know. I mean, early on, you know, I'd only do a video if I had an idea for it that I wanted to run with. So that would be like every couple weeks or so. But I'm trying to get them out every Saturday for consistency, you know, just to see if that helps the algorithm, or see if it helps my lazy ass like get on the stick. But yeah, sometimes it is tough to get ideas. A lot of times I just film little random bits and pieces and then just kind of jigsaw puzzle them together. But that's why for the past few months I've been coming up with these ongoing themes, like the 70 albums thing that I'm doing right now, and answering those 101 questions in increments, you know. So I would have, you know, I'd have a little list of records that I could just fall back on, you know, for a video. Question 2: if you could buy subscribers, would you? Honestly, what would be the point? I mean, why do you want subscribers? I mean, if you're a sane person, the reason you want subscribers is because you want people to actually watch your shit. And, you know, if you buy a fake number, you know, that doesn't mean that 1,000 people are actually watching you. It just means that you know, you paid money for a fake number of subscribers because you think that'll jack up the algorithm, and there's a sucker born every minute. So no, I want, you know, when I'm bugging people to subscribe, it's because I you know, I want to share what I have to say, you know. Are there genres of music? This is question number 3. No, I blew it. No, this is question number 3. Do you like to mention what you paid for records? I like to mention when I got something cheap. I mean, I've seen people's videos where they're just flexing their capitalism, and they'll go through a stack of amazing, awesome records, and all they'll talk about is what they paid for them. And that's kind of depressing, you know. And honestly, I'm trying to help my addiction, because I've got just thousands of records coming out of my ass, and I want to, you know, I made this channel to help me appreciate what I have and dig into my catalog. Though, you know, there's the fun of finding new shit. The fun of finding new shit is addictive. So, you know, but you know, like this time around for Record Store Day, I mean, I saw some things that looked interesting, but it was just more money than I wanted to spend, and then I found great cheap stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't want that to be the main focus. I want the focus to be on the music and what it means to me. But if I get an amazing deal, you know, if I find a record that I've been looking for like for fucking forever, I am, you know, I might include that in the factoids. Question 4. Are there genres of music that you don't like and that you wouldn't show, that you would leave out? And again, that's a little tricky. I think what's kind of formed my eclectic taste is, like, in my past, in my youth, having to deal with a lot of friends who would go out of their way to tell me that they did not like a lot of stuff that I was championing for various reasons, you know. I mean, people who identified as rockers and didn't want anything weird, you know. Or so for me, I try to, when I don't have anything nice to say, not say anything, you know. Even in my personal dealings with people, if they're talking about something I don't like, I'll, you know, unless it's something that unless it's something really horrible and I have to say, you know, I think it's horrible, I will usually just keep my mouth shut and let them talk, because, you know, maybe I just don't get it. And yeah, so I try to keep an open mind. But it's interesting. Opposition is an interesting thing, because opposition can show you what you truly believe in. Because if somebody's talking smack about something you love and you just take it in stride, or whether you really feel something in your gut and feel compelled to defend it, you know, the magnitude of what you feel when faced with opposition teaches you what you actually believe in, what teaches you what is really important to you, more so than just talking with people who agree with everything you say, because that just
Cause yeah, okay. Number 5. Do you skip or fast forward through other people's videos to look for stuff you like? That depends. That depends. I will say if it's somebody who I've never watched before, I will do that maybe the first watch through one of their videos. I'll just kind of give it a quick little skip through to see if it's really something that I can relate to, you know, to see how close to the same page as me they're on, or how interesting what they're showing looks. You know, maybe I'll do that first and then watch the whole thing. But most of the time it's just the fun of seeing what people have to say about stuff, you know. And it's like, you know, no spoilers. You want to just, you know, if it's somebody I watch all the time, you know, I'm gonna savor every minute of the video and let it roll with no spoilers. So yeah, case by case basis. Question 6. What are your thoughts on shorts? Well, on a nice day like this, I should be wearing shorts probably, but I'm comfortable in this sweatpants I'm wearing, so that's fine. Number 7. Do you use the community tab? And you know, I don't use too many extra bells and whistles. I just make my videos and throw them out there and see what happens. And is that why I don't have as wide a viewership as I could? Maybe. Does that make me less annoying than people who are always clamoring for attention? I don't know. I clamor for attention in my own ways, and sometimes people are annoyed, and sometimes people are intrigued. Number 8. Is there anything about your videos you don't like? No, my shit is absolutely perfect, and I love. No, I'm just kidding. When I'm editing, you know, I repeat myself a lot and kind of stutter. I don't know if it's really stuttering or if it's just that I'm collecting my thoughts. You know, I'm not really reading a script, and I just kind of go, yeah, like, yeah, you know. And I'm just constantly like just chopping those out of my speech to make it sound like it's more coherent. Sometimes I'll watch back, you know, I had some kind of issues with sound because I'm just using built-in microphones. I don't have a good microphone, you know, and sometimes the stuff that ooh, a bird just flew over, that's cool. You know, the stuff I record on the computer was way louder than the stuff I record on my phone. You know, I don't want it to be unbalanced. But yeah, you know, sometimes I'll talk about a record I just bought that I end up just putting in the trade pile, and then I wonder if that's dishonest or not. I don't know. It's, you know, you got to be like Miles Davis said. You know, I'm my own worst critic. It has to get past me, you know, before I worry about what the other critics say. So, yeah, I try to do the best thing I possibly can. And you know, is there anything about other people's videos that you don't like? No comment. No comment. If I don't like it, I don't watch it. If I don't have anything nice to say, I watched somebody else answer these questions and said, oh, I don't like when people drink coffee on their videos, and I do that. I don't like when they ask people to subscribe, and I do that. But, you know, yeah, I don't want to single out anything that I don't like. I'm just, you know, there's always room for improvement. You know, there's room for myself to improve, room for others to improve. You know, and Ken Nordine said, "No one lives long enough to be anything other than an amateur." And yeah, I mean, that's why we keep doing these. Each one should be, you know, each one will be a little bit better than the one before, because you watch it back and you see what could be improved or whatnot. Okay, this is the last question, and it's got little multiple sections. If you were to stop making videos, would you A, shut down the channel, B, just keep the videos up there, you know, live, public, or C, would you make the videos private? Something really drastic would have to happen for me to shut down the channel, and I don't want to invoke what those things could possibly be, but you know, like I'm trying to make a video every week. Unless if I really didn't feel like it, I would, you know, something came up in my life, or I'm just, you know, in one of my funks and I don't feel like making a video, then you'll just, you know, you won't see a video. If I wanted to stop making videos, would I announce that I was done with making videos? I don't know. I mean, if I had, you know, if I was having some kind of existential crisis, you know, I could go on and say, yeah, I'm taking a break for a while or something. But, you know, I guess it's videos is a little different universe than like Facebook groups. Like, I'm leaving this group, you're all jerks, and announcing it, and they say, bye Felicia. But no, I guess, yeah, if it was some major thing where I'm not gonna be able to do it for months or months, or if I, you know, something happens that makes me feel like just saying screw it and quitting, then I would probably, you know, make a video where I say goodbye. But you know, I put a lot of work, you know, I mean, now that something is flying up in the air, but I can't see what it is because I'll burn my eyeballs with the sun, so I'm gonna just wait for it. But yeah, I would leave the videos up there. I mean, again, case by case basis, you know. I mean, in the past I've made videos and then decided no, that's not good enough, and then just nuked them. But I wouldn't shut down everything, you know. I might cherry pick some videos to get rid of if I'm like pruning the channel. But you know, if I didn't make myself cringe every now and then, I wouldn't be me. All right, I guess that's it for these questions there. Thanks for watching, and peace. See you next week.